has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Oh, thank God Cousin Sal is back on Coast to Coast.
Come on.
I got to tell you, that was one of the worst things that happened to me there. Like, honestly, so I've been there. This is my 6th year.
Yeah.
My years start at the Super Bowl.
Right.
I started, at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be year 6. And, I think it was, about 2 or 3 years ago that you stopped doing the show?
Yeah.
Because, you were doing something with FanDuel or something like
it
this.
ended up being a weird, political thing with the books. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
That's one of the worst things. I've seen your Wikipedia page. How could this be one of the worst things that happened?
I mean, there's been a lot of terrible things in my career.
Okay, right.
Which are all hilarious.
Uh-huh.
But at SportsGrid, it bummed me out when you left the show because you did it. What'd you do it?
It was a lot of fun.
What'd you do it? Every Monday?
Mondays. Yeah.
So every Monday you would come on and you're funny as hell and you're great and you love life, you love sports. I like your whole act.
You don't have
the L.A. thing, and it's weird because I worked for Howard, so Howard and Jimmy are great friends, and all of it kind of, and I was part of that world.
I remember seeing you in the Westwood One offices.
Right.
Corolla would be by
right.
you, right?
Right. So
you were like, "What's up, freaks?" I was like, "Oh my God, this is the highlight of my life."
So listen, that was speaking of that, that was the greatest time of my life.
Was it?
So imagine working in the same room every night with Dr. Drew and Adam, which Loveline was at its peak.
Huge. Yeah.
It was enormous. I mean, the show was so awesome. It was such a great show that, I even listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
I would get in the car when I was done, because they came on when I was,
right.
My last hour, I left, and they started and did, 2-3 hours. And I would get in my car and drive back to Huntington Beach, because it was Culver City. It's 40 minutes. So I would listen the whole way home, and they're talking about chlamydia and talking about, relationships and diseases and sex. And
every phone call ended the same way. This is your father. You have an issue with your father, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I do. Okay.
So he was like a shrink and a doctor and legitimate and serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adam was so funny. And the thing was about Drew, he knew when we were on drugs. So, back then, we were young and we were high.
I know.
And, we were really high. And, my entire staff, we were, blowing doobies out in the front. It was it was weird. It was right next to the cop station. But we would sit out in the front curb and we'd be burning doobies. And, it was all going on. My show was insane. I had... Rodman would come in there with 100 hookers, and everyone would be naked. Bad things happened there in that room.
Isn't it crazy? That's the same lifetime.
It was.
I look at pictures from the Man Show, and guys got their tongues in the receptionist's ear. I'm like, I could never scan these and make copies. It's not in black and white.
I was at his house one night in Newport Beach.
Rodman.
Yeah. And the police raided the party, right? And everyone was naked in the pool. And I ran naked up the beach line, the coastline, and I ran up the ravine, and I had a friend pick me up on the PCH highway, stark raving naked, and drive me home. Because I lived at Warner and PCH at the other end by Seal Beach. So I literally ran I was down in Newport naked, picked up on the PCH in a car, in a Jeep, naked, literally stark raving naked with no shoes. And my buddy drove me home, and I walked in my house naked.
And you're probably the 50th craziest person at that party.
Believe me, there were way wackier people there.
Right.
But all the crazy stuff happened. So when I listened to that show, I just thought it was terrific. So, I'd say the time of my life was then. I was
98?
young. Yeah, well, it was
99?
94 to 99. Yeah. So I was on MTV.
Yeah.
I did the sports and music festivals. I did the Super Bowl Rock and Jock. I did this New Jersey Summer House. I had long hair.
Yeah.
We did drugs. We got drunk every day. I made a ton of money. I was syndicated in 250 cities. They paid me way too much money. I never, ever made that kind of money again in my life. It was all then when I was young that I made all the money.
You look remarkable for all you've been through. I'm not even saying, even this week, because like I look at people, I'm like, that guy looks like he got here Thursday morning. Like I feel like so worn down. I saw at the Acme Oyster House, right?
Right.
You were. It wasn't looking like you were going to answer the bell the next morning.
No, but I did. Easy,
man.
easy.
How do you do it?
Easy. I'm a pro.
That's it.
Like I'm a professional. I'm a professional drinker.
Right.
And so I didn't drink for 18 years, when I had kids, I stopped. I didn't want to be a loser dad. Because when I was
between 94 and 95.
No, this is way after that. In the early 90s, I was a mess.
Right.
Like I was going out, I went out with Motley Crue. I came back 4 days later.
Wow.
Like I'd hung out with rock stars. I worked for Metallica. I did bad things.
Right.
So, and I would go into rooms with these dudes in suites and hotels, and they were having orgies.
Right.
And I was there and boozing and doing bad things, narcotics and felonies. And I should be dead, but I'm not. I saw Slash at Sirius one day, and he goes, "You're not dead yet?" And I said, "You aren't either."
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, it's good to see you." But then, when I had kids, I got sober.
Yeah.
Because, my wife's like, you really are a drunk. And I was like, all right, so I'll quit. And I stopped cold turkey, never had another drink. And then when I had an open heart surgery and died,
long ago, right?
A year ago, November 17th of 23.
Yeah.
So the guy said, when I got out of the cardiac unit after a month, he goes, "You can drink, you can't do drugs, you can't smoke cigars, you can't smoke weed," because I have an artificial heart clamp and fake valves. And I have a unit in my chest. And so the guy says, "You can drink." And I went, I looked at my wife, I go, "Double rum," because I've already died.
Right.
My thing says 30 minutes to the morgue.
No
That's
kidding.
from my surgeon. He gave me that as a gift.
Okay,
that was my nickname, 30 minutes to the morgue.
Right.
So anyway, he said, "You can drink." So after not drinking for 18 years and dying, I figured I probably got at best 20 years left. If you've already had a massive heart failure and an open heart surgery, your odds of living long are, I'd say, declining. So he said, "You'll have a normal life. You'll be fine. You can drink. You can have sex. Everything will be normal. In about a year, 14, 15 months, you'll be back to normal," which I am.
Right.
But I decided at that point, if I'm going to die, can I have a few cocktails before they put me in the ground with maggots?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've also decided to be.
Miss the weed?
I do. I smoked for 50 years.
Right.
And when they opened up my chest, they said I had a coal miner's body. My lungs were coal miner, charred. And he said they'll clear up in 3 months if you stop. So I stopped that day. I never smoked again.
Really?
I never smoked again, and I never did it again. I'm able to do these things.
Right.
I don't have to go to rehab. I just stopped drinking. Yeah. It was awful. I'd say the first 3 weeks were awful. I remember running in the snow one night. I was running in snow, and I had a hoodie on. And I was like, "I'm never gonna make it." And it was 3 a.m, and I was out running.
Clothes on it.
I was having trouble sleeping, and I was fidgety. I was edgy. I had a temper and things like that. But I didn't kill anyone, and I didn't go to I didn't have to go to some facility and be locked in. I just did it. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm drunk."
Your kids are grown up, right?
So now my son's at San Diego State, and my daughter is a basketball star.
And I remember you'd go see her.
Right.
And it's you don't want to be slumped over in the bleachers.
So
right?
I don't have any of that. I've never done that. So now I just live life, and I you saw me at the Acme. I ate 500 oysters. I had 15 double rums. Why not? Enjoy yourself.
We're in New Orleans.
Last night I went out, nickel dinner, 10 drinks. Bought some chick a drink. She wanted to have sex with me. I didn't like her, so I said, "Here, have a cocktail, have a sandwich. Leave me alone."
Nice little compromise.
So let me ask you this:
Did you hit the casino? No,
I did not go. I went to the casino, but not last night.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So you had an eating contest with some guy at the Acme.
Joe House.
So what happened? Who won?
We did this 12 years ago. We had it at the Acme Oyster House, and it was an eating contest.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop it back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
But is it just a matter of his contract, his age? I mean, usually things like this get fixed pretty quickly, but this one is not fixed, and now it's just super uncomfortable.
The opportunity or the idea of getting another team involved adds more complication to the situation, and it doesn't seem like a resolution is anywhere in sight, but the more suspensions come in, the more it's clear that the saga is over, or his time there is over.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so I'm talking to the legendary cousin Sal, one of my favorites all time. So you, the second time, 12 years later, you take him on again. This is like Ali Frazier. Like, you take him on again at that fantastic place. Like, that place gave me full chub.
We ordered everything.
Full chub, that place. I ate those grilled oysters.
The roasted oysters.
They were better than Saks.
Yeah, it was so
way
good.
better. And then I had the Bang Bang shrimp.
Yeah.
I ate 2 plates of those.
Right.
Last night I ate 4 plates of the same thing, except they had barbecued oysters. They were different than the grilled ones. So I ate 2 plates of those, and I had 2 plates of raw ones with cilantro and Tabasco.
Oh, that's fun.
And it was real spicy.
Kick, yeah.
And then
I needed a break from it. We went to a steakhouse last night. That was my break from the oysters.
So I love steakhouses too, like in New York and whatever. But I always sense that the day after is rough for me in the header. Like, if I eat a bunch of steak, like I was going to go to Fogo de Chao, but they just keep bringing it to you to the table.
Fogo.
So you go to Fogo, I'm going to have literally one morning I went in a 3-hour window. I went 8 times.
Really?
8 times in 3 hours.
That's a good.
How does someone do 8 blasts in 3 hours? That's when you know you're a slob.
I took my son for his birthday to Fogo, just me and him, before I came out here because I felt bad I was going to miss it.
Why do they got one out there too, right?
Oh yeah.
They got them everywhere.
Yeah.
But they got one down the street from my hotel here.
Yeah.
So every day I would get picked up by the Uber in front of the Fogo, and I would sit there and look in at the Fogo. And I just wanted so bad to go in there and eat because you could just keep eating.
Right.
It's endless eating.
Yeah, they don't tell you to leave.
Ever.
I got cut by one of those bastards. I thought he was cutting for me and he was cutting for my son. So the knife went right into. I had a
And he
big
cut you?
He cut me. I was like, wait a minute, I can maybe collect here. I can own my own Fogo de Chao. If I
So a guy smashed my phone on the cement at the media night in at the Superdome because he was, they
The
were
other
hurrying people through the security, and my heart clamp set off the thing, and I said, I have a artificial heart. I got a clamp in my chest. That's what's setting it off. And he goes, get back through the thing. I said, dude, you're not hearing me.
Right.
I can't go through the effing security thing. I have a heart clamp.
Yeah.
I have a card, a federal card that says I'm not allowed to go through security. He wasn't having it. So then he took my stuff and he dropped it and it tipped over and all my stuff smashed on cement and he broke my phone, $1,000. And you know what I said to him? I said, you're a C. And I go, I want to beat the out of you right now.
Right.
I go, you're a D-head. What are you doing, bro?
Right.
Like you're screaming at me and then you break my shack.
Yeah.
And I literally was this close to getting a fist fight.
He was very apologetic.
And you know who would have got it? He never said he hated me.
Of course.
But I would have been in trouble with my bosses.
Oh, really?
If I got arrested or got in a fight or a Ferrall causing a scene and all the rest.
It's good though. No one's been arrested.
So I didn't do anything. But I have eaten at least $300 to $500 a night in food and booze.
Yeah.
Every night.
Well,
for
you
5
have
nights.
to. And after the Super Bowl,
I actually feel like I gained 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's our January 1st, right? Everybody joins the gym January 1st. We got till February 9th or 10th, right? The Monday after. That's when we could start.
So you can't stop eating either.
I love it. I mean, look at me. What?
I'm never gonna. You know what's funny? I told you I play ball 6 days a week, and I never lose the weight. I never lose my gut.
Gain though, that's fine.
I don't even I think I'm fine with. You know what I told my wife, 34C? I said, I'm never gonna be sexy again and hot again or young again or anything. I said, we've been together 25 years.
It.
Can't you just stop with my weight? Like my daughter says, you're fat. I'm like, shut up. Drive to the basket. Stop shooting threes. Leave me alone.
Right. Could you do?
They always tell me how I eat too much and you're fat. You eat junk food. Like I can eat Pringles and Goldfish professionally.
Yeah.
Like I can eat. If I have a can, I get the long can of Pringles, not that girly can.
Right.
I get the long one. I eat the whole thing in one sitting.
Right.
If I eat a goldfish bag, I've never once eaten goldfish and not finished the bag.
Wow. All right. So you like the crack. I've done this keto or like all protein.
What is that?
I love it. You just mozzarella cheese and burrata, just omelet after omelet. But I can't hit the bread though. That's the thing. But
Why?
You will lose
because
weight.
the bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat. Everything else.
And what is this keto? That's helping you lose weight?
Yeah.
Like what are you on a keto diet?
I will. Starting Monday, I will be there. And
how do you spell keto?
I don't know.
Is it with a K?
K-E-T-O. Yeah.
Okay, so is it like a Oprah thing? Like she was on a lot of diets.
I have to listen to her. No, the body apparently breaks down everything before it gets to the protein. So if you have nothing in between you and the protein, then you're good.
When you're because you do you do anything? Like do you do any physical?
In the garage, I walk.
You box
and
I'll
walk. Do yoga once a week.
Yoga's.
I like boxing.
Yoga's
hitting the bag.
No, I did yoga, but I did it. I think I did it because I wanted to look at girls sweating. I was in the hot yoga at Lifetime, and there's hundreds of women in there soaking wet.
Yeah, that's
with
awesome.
just great bodies.
Yeah.
And I can't even do the yoga moves. Like I can't even. You know what the hardest part of my day is?
Tell me.
Putting socks on.
Why is that?
Because my gut, I can't even bend down that far. I have to lift up my leg and I gotta swing it on there. I gotta hit it like a fishing lure. I gotta hit it, and if I miss,
wear sandals.
Like when I have to bend over in the shower to wash my feet, I have to grab one of them and I have to and I have to keep my lean against something so I don't fall over.
If you did the yoga, your hips would be stretched out.
And I tried the yoga for a year. I hated it. I thought it was
the
girly.
Hot yoga's terrible. You can't breathe in those.
Oh, it was so hot.
Yeah.
I wanted to die 5 minutes after it started. Yeah. So I just play basketball.
That's smart.
But I used to be, I used to golf and do all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I played tennis and everything. I don't do any of that anymore. I play basketball every day, and I soaking wet. I tell my family, what do you want? You're sleeping. I get up at 5 in the morning. I play basketball, and I bust my ass. So can I just eat? So I get up at 5. I play at 6. I'm done by 7:30. Right. So they're still sleeping. And then I'm out busting my ass, but I never lose weight.
And there's 9 other nut jobs at 6 a.m.
There's about 13 to 15 of us that play. They're all great players. Yeah. But I never seem to lose weight. And I've given up. I don't care anymore. Then my cardiologist will say, you drink too much. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, dude, Tell your wife. Tell your mother.
Right.
I don't. I'm not stopping eating and drinking. I'm not.
Right.
I got to tell you how great it is to see you.
Great to see
Like,
you.
it made my day seeing
fun.
you at the Oyster
That
Bar.
was a lot of fun.
And taking pictures.
We gotta get a meal.
Next
Now that
time,
I know, you can
next
put it
time we'll
down.
go eat.
Right.
Hard, but we'll go to Fogo.
Let's do it.
And we'll have them cut our fingers off, and we'll just keep ordering beef.
Dangerous, but I love it.
And then maybe I'll break my record of 8 cables in 3 hours.
Oh.
I'll go for 10, double figures.
10. You can bet that on.
Hey, well, have fun watching the game that I don't care about.
I know.
Let's talk about Philly and Kansas City. They're here again 2 out of the last 3 years. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm a big Andy Reid fan, and it's hard to go against what he's been able to accomplish. That being said, there's a lot of storylines in this game. You know, you look at Saquon and what he's been able to do this year.
Crazy.
It's wild, but if he's able to do what he's done throughout the playoffs, they'll be hard to beat.
Only on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
It was great talking to my buddy cousin Sal. Always loved having him on the show. We're back at Radio Row, and it's all coming to a head. All of these gigantic networks and stations from around the country and wherever are breaking down their sets now and packing it up and getting out of here. Like, I mean to tell you, could see it coming. Everybody's hit a wall. And then they just can't get out of here fast enough. Like, there's people running for the exits. And then I know some people that are obviously staying for the game. And I know some people that are going to the game. I know some that are just staying in hotels because they couldn't get home in time to watch the game. Like, you know, they had to work or something Saturday and Sunday. They couldn't get home in time to watch the game, so they just are going to stay in New Orleans. I know I was talking to Schwartzy. His wife's flying down today. She's spending the weekend with him here, and they're going to just stay at this fancy hotel and watch the game at the hotel, the two of them. And maybe, you never know. It sounds like there was relations planned, so you never know what could happen. But I'm obviously with Mafia headed back to New York City after the show today. So what do you got, NBA for me? Carver High, a few games tonight.
Yeah, let's try to get in as many as we can. Also, there's probably going to be relations for the little Argentinian with a big heart, Emiliano Grillo. The slam dunk, hole-in-one at the Stadium Hole 16 over at the Waste Management.
On.
Cash
lying.
that plus 265 for a hole-in-one on 16.
Ring the bell.
That's a winner. Ring the bell for that. Grillo, very proud of the little Argentinian.
All the beer cans and beer cups.
Oh, they were all throwing the beers and the cups and everything on there. It was a wild scene at the 16th there. They wait all weekend for that. They want that to happen. They got it. They got it from Grillo. So nice job. All right, let's go. Let's get in what we can. Spurs and Hornets in Charlotte tonight. Spurs minus 10.5, 229.5.
Yeah, I think with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby, they're going to get it done on the road at the Spectrum.
Cavs are in D.C. against the Wizards. How about this for some lumber tonight? 17.5 for the Cavs on the road, 239.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Wizards and the 17. I really am. I think the Cavs, I think they're going to take the night off and just skate and win the game and not cover that big, giant piece.
The Bucks are in Atlanta against the Hawks. Bucks minus 5.5, 242.5.
Yeah, let's see how Kuzma fits on the Bucks and how he plays with Giannis and Dame time. I like Milwaukee in Atlanta tonight.
Heat are in Brooklyn against the Nets. Heat minus 5.5, 210.5 the total.
That's another road win. I like Miami here and no sleep till. Remember the other night, D'Lo, they hit the last-second shot to stun the Rockets, and then they turned right around and got their ass beat by the Wizards. And then now they're playing Miami. They'll lose to the Heat.
The Sixers are in Detroit against the Pistons. Sixers minus 3.5 on the road. 228.5 is the total. That's because Embiid's playing tonight, back in the lineup.
Yeah, I like Detroit at home. I don't care about that big galoof. Give me the 4 and the Pistons at Little Sleezers.
The Raptors are in OKC tonight against the Thunder. I was wrong. This is actually the heavy lumber game of the night. 18.5.
I see
Thunder
19.
Even 19. No R.J. Barrett. No Brandon Ingram yet. A bunch of guys out for the Raptors.
Oh, so the whole team's out. Give me the Raptors and the 19. That's automatic. No one's playing. It's automatic.
You would say that. And the Jazz are in Phoenix against the Suns. Suns minus 8.5, 232.5 the total.
Now that's some home cooking I can get involved with. Give me the Suns in the desert at the Footprint. And they never got rid of KD. Is he not? Well, he played tonight because he wasn't playing the other night. They were going to trade him, but I bet he's playing tonight.
I have him. I do not have him listed as out for tonight. So it looks like
so D-Book and Durant, they'll beat the Jazz easily.
There you go. In case I don't see you again, I don't know if I will or if I won't. St. John's and UConn tonight in a huge one up in stores. Let's go. 4.5 for UConn this evening.
Oh my God. I'm going to take St. John's. I think UConn sucks this year.
I'll take St. John's getting.
Let's talk about Philly and Kansas City. They're here again 2 out of the last 3 years. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm a big Andy Reid fan, and it's hard to go against what he's been able to accomplish. Okay. That being said, there's a lot of storylines in this game. You know, you look at Saquon and what he's been able to do this year.
Crazy.
It's wild. But if he's able to do what he's done throughout the playoffs, they'll be hard to beat.
Only on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back at Radio Row, we have some alleged guests that might show up here. We'll see. And I'm not going to cry if they don't. I doubt I'll break into tears. So anyway, and I know that for a fact one of them's coming here in a few minutes. It'll be Bust a Cap in Yo Ass. Your boy Adam Kaplan has been doing interviews left and right here for SportsGrid. And he just came by here, so I know he's going to do a double shot with us coming up in a little bit. So let's go back to that college scene.
Yes, and I did want to go through the rest of these with you. We already mentioned St. John's and UConn. That game is at Gamble in Stores tonight, so that's where they're playing that game with UConn -4.5. USC is in West Lafayette against Purdue. That's a big number for Purdue, 12.5. VCU and Dayton, great game in the A-10. St. Louis and St. Joe's, also a pretty good game in the A-10.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's a tough trip for USC to go to West Lafayette to Mackey. I know the number's big. I still think Purdue can handle that wood at home in that building. It's a tough place to play. I know Indiana covered there. I think it's different. It's such a rivalry when they play. Even though Indiana's awful and Woodson's out, and I've even heard all about they're going to go after Dusty May. Good luck with that. He just took the job at Michigan. He's going to leave in 1 year and go to Indiana. I will keel over if they steal that guy from Ann Arbor. And I'll bet Ann Arbor gives him a bump. I bet they already today gave him a pay raise.
I heard someone, and I don't remember who it was, bring up Chris Beard, who, of course, was Texas Tech, Texas, now at Ole Miss, that Chris Beard would leave for Indiana in a heartbeat, that he would run there. So, and he's a hell of a coach. I know he left. He obviously was out in Texas because of the stuff that went off away from basketball, but he's a hell of a coach.
He's a great coach. I'd take him, and he's intense. I need intensity. I think Woodson was. I think Mike Woodson was a great player at Indiana. Look at Morency styling. Look who it is. That's your boy Morency. He just got done doing McAfee. He's going to stay out by the airport tonight and have a couple beverages. He's worked hard this week. He deserves a cold, fresh one. My man Morency styling. So anyway, what I was saying, and he got all that fresh Super Bowl garb too. Nice hoodie. So here's the deal. Woodson to me, and I said this maybe not yesterday, just that I'm glad he's leaving. I don't think he's done well there the last couple of years. In fact, I think it's all passed him by. I think he's done coaching. And I really believe this. He was a great player at Indiana, and he's never been intense as the coach at Indiana. He's too nice. He's too grandpa. You know what I mean? Grandpa Jones. Like, they need some guy like Knight. Frankly, I'm sorry. They need someone with intensity that I'm sorry, that yells and cusses and gets mad at refs and yells at players when they screw up. I'm done with all this cream puff candy ass stuff. I really am. Like, oh, you're not allowed to yell at players anymore in this day and age. That is such nonsense. It's not even funny. Indiana has been so soft like Charmin for the last 25 years. They have sucked for 2 decades. They really need to toughen up in Bloomington. Honestly, like, they have lost blue blood status. I mean, they don't even matter anymore. They can't even make the NCAA tournament. Bobby Moe's better. I mean, honestly, Mike, they really suck.
Bobby Moe getting involved. Now, tomorrow, I just want to give you a couple of these games because there's some really good games on Saturday. Tennessee visiting Oklahoma. Oregon, remember, they lost to Michigan the other night. Now they're in East Lansing tomorrow against Sparty. Wisconsin, Iowa. Michigan visits Indiana. Marquette, Creighton, Kansas State, Texas A&M, Missouri. How about Florida, Auburn as well? You've got Illinois, Minnesota, Duke, Clemson, Alabama, Arkansas. How about late night, 10:30 East tip for Texas Tech in Arizona? Some great games on Saturday.
Michigan will go to Assembly Hall and beat Indiana. Indiana's losing every game they play now. They've lost 4 straight, 6 of 7. I'm on Michigan laying 2 and a hook. 2 and a hook. They'll win by 12 and a hook. I like Creighton in Omaha against Marquette. I like Kansas State to beat Kansas in Little Manhattan. How about Iowa with the upset of Wisconsin and Carver Hawkeye in Iowa City? I like Auburn at Neville. I really do. I like Houston to win at Colorado. Spank that ass. The Buffs suck. I like Georgia at home over Mississippi State. That's a ranked team. I like Minneapolis, Minnesota. Whenever they play at Williams Arena, they play great. Garcia and the Gophers upset Illinois. And Duke, Clemson, Dickie V's calling that game at Littlejohn. Duke will win. Duke's no joke. They won 16 in a row. They mean business. I like Ole Miss at Maravich at LSU. How about Arkansas covers the wood at home at Bud Walton against Alabama? They've been playing really good ball all of a sudden for Cal. And Texas Tech and Arizona. I got to take the Cats at McHale, but Texas Tech, they mentioned that coach of Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, for another possibility for Indiana. They say that the guy at Texas Tech, I can't remember his name, he's the hottest young coach in America. And his team is on their way to the NCAAs. I think they've only lost like 4 games, 3 or 4 games the whole season. Texas Tech's really tough. They're having a great year.
That would be Grant McCasland is that guy's name.
Yeah,
Texas Tech.
McCasland.
The job that he's doing a great job. Doing a really nice job. All right, quickly, only 5 hockey games tonight.
Everybody loves hockey.
Including the Penguins are at the Garden against the Rangers tonight. Big number there. Nashville's in Chicago. The Islanders, who've won 8 out of 9, visit Winnipeg, who's won 7 in a row. Both teams playing great. Colorado and Edmonton, always fun. And Dallas and the Kings in L.A. at the Crypto tonight.
How about that gigantic number for the Islanders, plus $1.62? I saw it at $1.62. It's $1.68 there. Give me the Islanders in Ferrellipeg with the upset of the night. They've won all these games, 8 of 9. I'm going to ride them. I like the Rangers on the puck line. Lay the goal and a half against the Penguins. No Crosby tonight in New York. He's got an upper body injury. I wonder if he's going to miss the 4 Nations. I really do. And then in terms of the other ones, honestly, I'm going to go upset. I like the Blackhawks to win tonight at home at $1.64 over the Predators. I think they stink. And that game, there's no way. There's no way I'm laying $1.90. So I'm just going to take the over in the Avs-Oilers game and Dallas-LA. I like the Kings at the Crypt in Lipstick City.
I like the under in the Kings Star game late night. Give me that under with the Kings and the Stars. I think they've played under 6 of their last 7 meetings with each other, so we're going to go there. You've sent me so much stuff with Canelo, like I can't even keep track anymore, to be quite honest with you. Is he fighting T-Bud? Is he fighting Jake Paul? Is he not fighting T-Bud? What's the deal with this guy?
All right, so he blew off Jake Paul. that will never happen. That's not going to happen because he cut a deal in high-speed fashion with the Saudis, and he's going to fight 4 fights in Riyadh, a 4-fight package. I think the first one will be Jermall Charlo in May, and then in September he'll fight Crawford there. And so T-Bud and Canelo will happen so the first fight's the Cinco de Mayo week. The second fight is the Mexican Independence weekend in September, right? So, and then the other 2 fights, I don't know who they are against, but they will not be against Jake Paul ever. And the Riyadh, that group in Saudi Arabia, they also said he doesn't fight fake fighters, which would be Jake Paul.
Let's talk about Philly and Kansas City. They're here again 2 out of the last 3 years. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm a big Andy Reid fan, and it's hard to go against what he's been able to accomplish. Okay. That being said, there's a lot of storylines in this game. You know, you look at Saquon and what he's been able to do this year.
Crazy.
It's wild, but if he's able to do what he's done throughout the playoffs, they'll be hard to beat.
Only on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and 4th down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We've had a lot of fans tweeting us on X complaining, where is Busta Cap in yo ass? And I said, calm down. We're going to get him. And we got him. We got Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider, with us live in living color in person at SB 59 at Radio Row. Did you notice how quickly they're breaking this thing down and everybody's running like the place was on fire? People are running out of here.
I'll tell you what, though, I've had a good time, man. New Orleans is a good town to have a Super Bowl. Food is phenomenal. Plenty of places to go. You and I have been out a little bit. It's been a good time, but believe it or not, we actually have a game on Sunday.
Yeah.
The last thing everyone talks about is the game.
You know, I was talking to Donnie right side,
Yep.
and he's I never knew he was an Eagles fanatic.
Big.
And did you ever know him before the sports grid?
No. I don't know how it came up. And I know Kevin Walsh is a big Eagles fan, but
he's another one?
Oh yeah. Well, here's what happened. Donnie asked me a series of Eagles questions, they were very smart questions from someone who likes the team. Like, are you a fan of the Eagles? He goes, are you kidding me? I live in South Jersey. I was like, oh, jeez.
Listen,
Eagles guy.
I didn't know Kevin was an Eagles fan too.
Oh yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
I didn't even.
Interesting. You wouldn't think so.
No, I didn't. Because like, how does he like them? Like, isn't he from like he went to Iona or something? How does he like Philly?
I'm not sure. That one I don't know. Donnie, I know why. That one I don't know why.
Donnie lived near Philly.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it.
South Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
So all the people from South Jersey used to go down to Atlantic City and to the shore, and
yeah, you know where it is, Cherry Hill area.
Yeah, you know what happens. Yeah. So I saw that literally, we showed a map that like 95% of the country is betting on the Eagles.
And Scott, the first half under. It's so funny because on SportsGrid and what I was doing this week with everybody, I talked to a lot of professional gamblers this week, odds makers, bookmakers,
right?
Guys who run sports books, and a lot. In fact, how about Jason Worth, the former MLB player?
I talked to him.
Yeah, he's a big player. He's got his horses. He gambles. He loves the under in the first half. He likes the Eagles in the first half. Everyone's on it. And now, some books had them still for the first half, -1, -1.5. But now it's moving toward them being a pick or even being a favorite in the first half. So, and I get it because if you look at the Super Bowl, they're not a great first half team. If you look at them this year, they don't win by very much.
Who, the Chiefs?
Yeah, their point differential is really small. Like, they deserve to be here, yeah. They do. They're representing the AFC, but they're really not that good. Doesn't mean they're not going to win. And they have experience on their side. So this is interesting. So of all their guests, now I want to exchange notes with you here.
Right.
Me talking with 40, 50 people at least on the air and off the air. I would say it's like 60-40 Eagles. Because I've talked to a lot of former players. See, a lot of them love the Saquon story. They like Hurts, but they cannot get away from Mahomes and Andy Reid, particularly Mahomes.
So I said today that, I think they have to run Barkley down their throat. I don't care what they have drawn up. They have to stick to that. That's what got him here. Barkley and defense. They cannot give up on Barkley. The number's like $112.5. That's a low number for him. This guy's had 70-yard touchdown runs in multiples, 60-yard touchdown runs in multiples. I mean, the guy's going off. Their offensive line is enormous. They have to pound it because Spagnuolo's got it drawn up to stop Barkley. The whole thing is to stop Barkley. And I don't think just because, let's say early, they stop him in the first quarter and they snuff him out.
Yep.
They can't give up on that run.
No, I agree with you. That's the foundation, Scott, of their offense. It starts with Barkley. And by the way, check that Hurts rushing prop because he's going to be part of it. That left knee, he's good to go. He looked really good. In fact, he had a touchdown call back against Washington. So let's not forget that. Now, I want to touch on that Barkley prop, right? The rushing prop. You know why it's lower? Because it went under.
I know he went under the championship game, but
it's just hard to believe. He has the big run, the first carry of the game. Kenny Gainwell, their number 2 back, who, by the way, has been cleared to play. He'll play. He left that game with a concussion, and yet it still didn't go over, and they blew them out. It was a very odd situation for it to go under, but I'm with you. If you had to take a side, I like the over there, and I want to update a couple injuries. I mentioned Kenny Gainwell. He's been cleared to play.
I don't understand how he got cleared. So 2 weeks later, you're fine?
Well, concussion. I mean, usually it's around 7 days, the NFL says. So he's cleared. He also had a knee issue.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with guys that have concussions getting a lot of carries.
No, but
he's a good player.
He is. He is huge in pass protection. He's more or less their third down back. Barkley, believe it or not, all the hoopla is not a good pass protector. So getting Gainwell back, that's good for the Eagles. Brandon Graham should be activated tomorrow. He's looking.
Do you
really
trust
good.
A guy that he's 4 months removed from tricep surgery?
Just over 2 months, by the way.
But I don't. It takes 4 or 5 months. He's 2 months. My point is, how in God's name do you block a guy that's 300 pounds coming at you when you're There's no one that, even Dr. Chow told me, you can't recover in 2 months. He's out there. He's phonying it just so he can play. He's being a tough guy.
Well, here's the thing, though. The coaches are not going to put him out there unless he can do his job. But on what you're saying, because it's his left triceps, okay? Triceps is from your elbow to your shoulder.
Right.
He claims he's got enough power, but they're going to test it.
He's imagining things.
It's not like the opponents, the Chiefs, don't have that tape. They saw it.
Right.
He got hurt against the Rams, where, by the way, it was week 12. He was incredible. He is 36 years old, the oldest edge rusher in the National Football League.
Is this it for him? He's going to play in this game and then retire?
Well, he already announced his retirement and then went back on it. If they win, he's definitely retiring.
So is he going to do his radio show and keep upsetting the Eagles and their players when he's not playing with them anymore? Is he going to be a controversial podcaster?
He does. He actually has a podcast. Yes, he does work for WIP. And for the folks to understand at home what you're referring to, so he was just asked about a couple things and about their passing game. And A.J. Brown made a comment about what's wrong with their offense. He said the passing game. But he never mentioned Hurts. So Graham just assumed that he was taking a shot at Hurts. He assumed that A.J. Brown was. And by the way,
I think he did take a shot at him, and I think that it got huge, the story. And then when it got huge, they lied that.
Tried to walk it back.
Oh, they tried to walk it back. I thought it was ridiculous. When we come back, we got another segment with Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider. Obviously, he's betting on his Eagles to win their second Super Bowl.
Let's talk about Philly and Kansas City. They're here again 2 out of the last 3 years. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm a big Andy Reid fan, and it's hard to go against what he's been able to accomplish. That being said, there's a lot of storylines in this game. You know, you look at Saquon and what he's been able to do this year.
Crazy.
It's wild. But if he's able to do what he's done throughout the playoffs, they'll be hard to beat.
Only on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're talking to Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider here at Radio Row. So, what does it do to you to have your team in the Super Bowl? Obviously, because I get all when the Steelers were in it, I get all worked up. I can't even. Well, it's just it takes over my life.
So you think I'm biased, right? First of all,
I know you are.
2017. Who do you think I picked? Eagles or Patriots?
Patriots.
Of course, I picked the better head coach.
Right. Well, I think
was wrong.
Well, and the Eagles won.
And the best.
Nick Foles. Could you even believe it?
Corey Clement, who's out of the league. Nick Foles, who played out of his mind. He's never played that well. He got on a roll. Highest yardage game in NFL history. It was by far the best.
Are you surprised that guy won that Super Bowl and that Hurts lost his Super Bowl and now has a second chance? You think he'll get it done and get a ring? Because you can't tell me, is Nick Foles going to go down in history as the only Eagle quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl?
Hurts will win one. Now, first of all, a couple things here. I find it interesting that as of now, again, I know it depends on what book you look at, but everyone I've talked to says it's still 1.5. Okay, universally, it's still 1.5. It hasn't moved, which is, by the way, I'm told is rare. It's rare that it stays the same this late in the week. Why do you think that is?
First of all, I think it's because people are everyone's expecting that they're going to have another close game, and that Kansas City, when they're in close games, never loses. And he's 4-0 in close games. Anything under 3, he's never lost. This guy, it's like he's blessed or something, like with close game wins. I am sick and tired of him winning close games. I'm so sick and tired of it. I can barely take it. So, like, I hope that, you know what I hope? I hope that it's a close game late and the Eagles are up by 2 or 3 and Mahomes is at the 5-yard line and he's running in and to win the game and he fumbles.
Well,
that's what I hope happens.
Here's the problem, though. I have a problem with the Eagles late in this game. It better not come down a field goal because Jake Elliott, who was arguably the NFL's best kicker from 21 through 23. Scott, he's missed around a dozen kicks. We're talking about field goals and extra points, but how do you miss extra points? It's a short field goal.
It's unbelievable.
It's embarrassing.
But it's indoors.
I know, and they were here in week 3. They beat the Saints. That was a heck of a win, but that concerns me. So if you look at intangibles, because you're talking about a line that's 1.5, that would worry me. And on your point, I've thought about that all week because you don't want it to come down to Mahomes having the football. Now,
right.
You've got.
He always does.
Yep. And now the total, I know, has gone from 49.5 to 48.5. I know they're not real passing teams, particularly the Eagles. They've become the running team for the first time in Jeffrey Lurie's ownership, Eagles CEO and owner. But it goes through Barkley. As you said in the first segment, I totally agree with you. It's going to go through him. Now, if the Chiefs load up, that means, for the folks out there, if you load the box, that means you can't double anyone on the outside. That means A.J. Brown is going to get single coverage on the outside.
Right.
Brown and Hurts, particularly Hurts, the quarterback, loves single coverage. In 2022, he made a living. He became the runner-up to the MVP by throwing at single high coverage. If he gets single high, that ball's going out. Now, Trent McDuffie, who was their nickel corner for most of his career, is now playing on the outside. McDuffie's a great football player, Scott. He's not big enough physically to handle A.J. Brown. That's not going to happen. The Chiefs, by the way, are, other than McDuffie, they're below average at corner. Yes, I agree with you. When they need to run it, but when they throw it, they're going to be successful.
Well, I mean, I've heard people say that Brown is the MVP at 35-1 is a great long shot bet because he's going to be in single coverage.
He will.
And he's going to be going off, and that Hurts is going to target him and go off. They're going to, literally, he's going to throw him the ball a lot in this game. He likes to feed him if he's in single coverage, so I think that that could happen. Man, it's just crazy. Did you enjoy interviewing all the tons of people?
It was great. Yeah, the cool thing about
I saw you doing it a lot over my shoulder.
The cool thing about it is you never know who you're going to see here. Like Matt Hasselbeck, Matt and I worked at ESPN together, so we talked.
I worked with him.
Great dude. Strictly the lead up to the Super Bowl, what he went through. The mental games, because it's such a long week for the players. They want the media stuff done as early as possible. So he gave me some good insight about when you're the quarterback, everything you're put through. The jitters. I talked to Brian Mitchell, okay? Super Bowl winner with the then Redskins in 1992 against the Bills, about how the Bills spoke up, Scott spoke up, and they aggravated them by some of their comments. The D-line coach, that actually helped them for motivation. But that was good. No, it's been a great week. We've had an incredible amount of guests.
Adam, great stuff. Good luck to your Eagles on Sunday against the Chiefs. Appreciate you, brother. My man.
Thank you.
Solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Is it just a matter of his contract, his age? Usually things like this get fixed pretty quickly, but this one is not fixed, and now it's just super uncomfortable.
The opportunity or the idea of getting another team involved adds more complication to the situation, and it doesn't seem like a resolution is anywhere in sight, but the more suspensions come in, the more it's clear that the saga is over, or his time there is over.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.